Hey guys, welcome back to this YouTube channel. Have you considered moving to South East Calgary recently? Have you looked at the homes there and wondered whether it would be good for your family and for your lifestyle to move to South East Calgary? Well, in this video, we're going to uncover so much information, things that no one talks about, and we're going to see what it's like living in South East Calgary. And trust me, there's a lot you need to know before you decide to move to South East Calgary. The first thing you need to know is about the Green Line LRT station. As someone who lives in Calgary, I myself couldn't be more excited. I am really waiting for the time when this train finally connects Southeast Calgary to the rest of Calgary. If you don't know what I'm talking about, till now, we've had the train stations in pretty much all of the other three quadrants in Calgary. And Southeast Calgary is the only one that's disconnected from downtown by not having a train. All we have is the bus transit system. And after 7 years of meetings and decisions, finally, they are breaking ground in 2023. And in 2024, the construction will all officially be in full swing. And hopefully, pretty soon, if there's nothing else that gets in the way, the Green Line LRT will connect Southeast Calgary to the rest of Calgary. And this is going to be pretty amazing because a lot of people don't realize the value of homes after the train or transit system connects us to the rest of Calgary, right? So it's something you need to know about the potential of Southeast Calgary, and if it's something you are taking a bet on, that is what you need to keep in mind. Now this Green Line LRT is set to reduce travel time by about 25 minutes to downtown. So that's pretty great for those of you looking for that suburban life, but need to work or move or go to downtown at any point. There's even plans to eventually go all the way to the airport, which is perfect because nobody wants to take those $100 Uber rides to Southeast Calgary, right? The Green Line LRT stations will be done in 2 phases. The first one will only go till Shepherd. And Shepherd is, if you don't know, pretty close to where the landfill is in the east side of Calgary, southeast side of Calgary. And then phase 2 will extend that all the way down to Seton. So phase 2 is definitely going to take a lot longer. And if that's where you're moving, unfortunately, those property gains will have to wait for some time. Talking about Shepherd, which is next to the landfill, that actually brings me to my next point. This is, again, something you absolutely have to know if you're considering Southeast Calgary, because it's something no one talks about. And it's the fact that at a certain time in the year, there's a weird smell that floods communities closer to Shepherd. Now the rumors have it that it's potentially the landfill. Some people say it's the farmlands to the east with fertilizers blowing the winds in. Not entirely sure. For 2 years now, the city of Calgary has said that they are investigating it. And trust me, it's pretty bad. So if you are looking to move to Southeast Calgary particularly, let me know. And I can try and keep you away from those awful smells. Because it only affects really certain northern parts of these communities and doesn't extend all the way down into the southern part of Mackenzie Town and after that point. Yeah, so I, as someone who lives in Southeast Calgary, I'm pretty familiar with which neighbors are complaining and which are not. So definitely let me know and I will guide you to the right part of Southeast Calgary. Next thing we got to talk about is something I am personally very excited about. You see, I love getting out to the mountains. Almost every 2 weekends I'm there. And it's absolutely amazing. And it's the whole reason why I moved out to Calgary a while back. And if this is something that's really important to you too, you're going to love this. So far, in order to get onto Trans-Canada Highway, we've always had to either go through the heart of the city where you can get stuck in a lot of traffic. But what we're going to get pretty soon is the Stoney Trail is going to complete its loop all the way around Calgary. So right now the Stoney Trail is on the north, east, and south side, but it doesn't cover the west side. And that's where we have a broken link between us and the Trans-Canada Highway. So now construction's almost done, and pretty soon that's going to cut off an entire 20 minutes from getting from here, Southeast Calgary, to the mountains. Can you imagine? So if before it took us an hour 20-ish, and that was our disadvantage compared to living in the north to get to the mountains, that's gone. Just take the Stoney Trail Highway and you're in the mountains within an hour. The next part about Southeast Calgary that's really interesting is the Seton community. Now, the Seton community, whether you are moving from somewhere within Calgary or you are moving out of Calgary, is pretty popular of an option when trying to pick a location to stay. And the reason is Seton is set to be sort of like the next core, the next downtown per se. And I wouldn't go so far as to call it that, but yeah, they do have a lot of amenities. There's everything around. It's an entire district by itself, and pretty self-sufficient. So, I mean, they have the world's largest YMCA, so you gotta hand it over to them for that. I mean, I go there. It's absolutely amazing. I've been to a couple other YMCAs around in Calgary, and I wouldn't pick any other one. I've been to Shaughnessy and a few others. YMCA Seton is absolutely hands down the best. They have so many things for kids, so it makes for a perfect spot to just go out with your family. They have the flow rider, they have a bunch of slides for kids, they have the jacuzzis, they have the sauna, the gym's absolutely so huge. You'll always be able to get a machine. The swimming pool's huge. I personally love swimming. I go swimming every morning. And they have I don't want to say Olympic-sized pool, but pretty big. I forget how many meters it is. It's absolutely amazing. You will love YMCA. All that rant just to say YMCA is amazing. But Seton, getting back to the point. So Seton is so amazing because when Seton was being developed, there were a lot of plans for entire commercial projects right around COVID time and a little before that. And many people don't know this, and which is why I say it's something no one talks about. It was put on hold during COVID time. So the hope is, now I try to look into it. I couldn't find the exact timelines or when we can expect to see something like this and when it will happen. But it's definitely something you want to keep in mind if you are looking to move to Seton, because it can, like we know, commercial districts can change the landscape of a residential area. So if you're moving to Seton, definitely look into it. The next thing that no one talks about, and to me personally is extremely important, is the fact that Calgary operates very differently to Ontario, for example. We actually have a lot of space on every side to expand, and the same applies to South Calgary. So there are always new communities coming up in South Calgary. Southeast Calgary, what we call mostly Southeast Calgary, didn't really exist before, which is why you have the landfill awkwardly in the middle of the city. But here's the thing. So we're going to constantly keep expanding out. And what do you have out to the south? You have Heritage Point. Now, if you haven't checked out Heritage Point, you absolutely have to. It's such a beautiful community. It's very upscale, beautiful houses, amazing, amazing community. And right now, at least the part that is available, or knowledge that is available to the public, is the fact that we are going to expand out to the ridge near the Bow River and also to the other side. So there's definitely new communities that are coming up on that ridge alongside the river on Southeast Calgary. And so if you choose a spot like, say, McKinsey, New Brighton, Mahogany, pretty soon you are actually going to be a lot more center than you think. because the city is going to just constantly keep expanding. It's going to try and keep up with this huge influx of demand that we've had over the last 2 years. And so you'd be in a good spot if you pick something now, which then later becomes more part of the core city. Isn't that amazing? And if that's not something you care about, still you will have access to Stoney Trail. And if you want to just pick something from the new developers out by the Boar River on the ridge, I hear those houses are going to be really beautiful. Of course, you're going to have the view right from the ridge. So if that's something you're curious about, let me know. I've also been trying to dig into more information, and I can definitely pass that your way. Now, finally, for everyone who stuck till the end of the video, I have a bonus for you. So, as you know, Calgary, or around us, Alberta, Calgary and surrounding areas, in general, we don't really have a lot of lakes, natural water bodies. We don't have beaches. And that's a lot of the things that sometimes people miss once they move here. But I have some good news for you. Calgary has some amazing, what we call lake communities. So within the community itself, the builder creates these lakes, essentially, that you can go kayaking, swimming, and a lot of other activities over the weekend, weekday, anytime. And it's part of your HOA fee when you buy a house within that community. So it's exclusive access, right? And guess what? South East Calgary actually has the largest concentration of these lake communities. So again, if that's a lifestyle that you would care about, if you think that's something that's good for your kids, for your family, and you would love to just sit at the beach, or if you work from home, work from the beach, right? Because it's just walking distance from your house. Southeast Calgary might be that perfect option for you. And if that's the case, guess what? Reach out. Let me know. I can go through what your needs are right now, plus where you're headed in the next 5 years, what your future looks like, and build that perfect life for you and your family, and make sure you are taken care of and you are really happy when you start your life or you move to a different part of Calgary, because there's so much. Calgary is very diverse in the types of communities and everything, and there's so much to learn even when you just move within Calgary, I find. So definitely reach out. My information's out in the description. You've got my phone number. Text me, call me, send me an email. I'll just book a consultation call. No obligations. We can just have a casual conversation and see where you're at. So I look forward to hearing from you. Book that call now. And till next video, goodbye.